Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Well, we lucked out and got some weather. That's good weather for a change. And we've been fighting rain for a long time, and we've had a few little teeny breaks and been able to put out a few real short videos. But anyway, the weather is still cold at nights and still freezing, but today it got up to 60, which is nice, but hard to get adjusted to it. But anyway, we're out here in the outback, and this is where we dropped that tree that blew down, you know, the 10-foot stump, and cut up the rest of it. It's right behind me. This is some of the wood out of it. So what we're going to be doing as we work out here, and we'll be pulling all the wood out, different sizes and stuff, and cutting it up. And what we'll be doing is we'll be using a different chainsaw every time, and we'll talk a little bit about each saw. Well, the saw for today is our Poulan model 3314. It was made in 2011. This saw was donated to us by Mr. C. His dad had purchased it new and bought like 4 chains for it and stuff, had high expectations for it, and when I got it, had maybe half a dozen hours on it. It was unreliable, hard starting, and you know, these things are a piece of crapola, but if you got a little bit of skills, you can work around their problems and make them work fine. This one of the things I had to do to it right from the beginning was the carburetor. Of course, it had been sitting for quite some time, and normally you just buy a kit and rebuild a carburetor. Well, there's no kits for them, and I saw a few places that had a few leftover new old stock carbs, so they wanted stupid prices for them. So I did something really bad and bought a Chinese replica crap carburetor and put on it, and I don't like that stuff. And I knew that was going to be something on it that didn't work right, and I was 100% right. The linkage has a 2-barrel carb on it. The linkage that operated the secondary part hit the air cover case inside, and so I had to modify that and make a new piece for it. Works fine now, but only good thing it was cheap. I think it was less than 20 bucks. But anyway, the idea behind these was a saw that you could buy cheap, and it's for people that had homesteads, small places, brush and bushes and small tree work. And the 3314 is supposed to be for 33 cc and a 14-inch bar. And looking on the EPA sticker, it says 42 cc. So you know how those marketing fools are. Can't believe anything they say, just like politicians. So anyway, the best feature on this saw by far is the decal right here. It's got a picture of a shark biting a tree. It says wood shark. And since it really isn't, you know, completely stock, I've had to do modifications on this to make it run better. And go back and watch our older videos, because I've actually done a number of videos on this saw, and it actually works okay now. But in complete stock form, it's useless almost. And so I had to name it the wood carp, because it's a sucker saw, just like a sucker fish, and go along the bottom and suck up all the crap, eat it. Well, this is a saw for suckers to buy. So anyway, I'm glad I didn't buy it. One thing I'll say on these little saws too is you really need to hold on to them in a good position, because the compression on them is really stout, and if you're slacking and pull on it, this thing will kick up and it can come right up by your face. And it's more of a problem because I use Echo Red Armor 2-stroke oil in it, and the film strength on it is really high, so that makes the problem worse. So anyway, I get my eyes and ears on and start it up. The one thing I do on this saw though, before I actually run it, I pull it through slowly a few times to get everything spinning, and it makes it so it doesn't kick up as easily as it does otherwise. These little saws have a lot of weird nuances, and so you need to spend a little time figuring them all out. For a so-called beginner saw, they get a lot of glitches. Well, you can see it cuts pretty good. Stock chain on it was a really crappy safety chain. And if you cut sideways, jump so much, chain would derail, so put a real chain on it. But, you know, like I say, these have their use. If you can figure out how to keep them running, you know, we can do some limbing here for you. Then we're going to show you some of the trees we're going to be taking down pretty soon here. Be right back. Okay, well, some of the future projects here. There's a bunch of little bitty trees here. They're all dead right off to the right here. And right behind me there's two of them. The top's blown out of one. The one to the right there is pretty much dead too. And there's another one directly behind it that's dead. And then we'll come over and get this one here. And then what I've got to do is I got to get all the brush out of here, all these old ferns and dried stuff like that, and then I can start pulling the small debris. And there's stuff everywhere out here. And so once I get a spot cleaned out over here, I'll have a place where I can start burning it. So anyway, we'll be back with some more good stuff here. That was interesting. Branch dropped down and hit the kill switch. Anyway, we'll be back. Well, we got the main part of the tree all cut up. I'll show you a picture of it here in a bit. But now we're going to be cutting up the branches for kindling. And going to be using our McCulloch Mini Mac here. It's about a 1975 model, 2 cubic inch or 33 cc. I think the first Mini Macs came out in 1970 to replace the Power Mac 6, which came out in 68, I believe. But, okay, well, the reason I use this for kindling more than any other saw is because of the light weight, 9.5 pounds. So easy to maneuver. And so I'm cutting kindling already because even though the weather's nice and warm today, it's still cold tonight, freezing a lot of times still. I'm just about out of kindling. And the other thing that is really nice about cutting kindling with these little saws is your throttle control. So when you're cutting, you start out at high speed, and then as you get close to the bottom, you let off and just feather the throttle on and off a little teeny bit. And then when you're very close to the bottom, just let the chain speed finish the cut off. And so in case you have some problem or issue, the chain speed is negligible or stopped. So anyway, get the saw warmed up and be right back. Well, you can see how quickly it is to process. There's almost a full bucket in just a little short length of time. And right at the last, I was pushing this lever right here. That's the manual override oiler. So I've got the bar and chain completely slicked up, so next time I use it, it'll be all ready to go. So anyway, we'll see you on the next exciting wood cutting video. We got a stump coming up, a burnout stump we'll be doing here pretty quick too. So anyway, McCullochs are the best. See you soon.